Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMGWTF, LOLFTWBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, where we are playing as the WWF in the year 2002. Still booking the invasion angle on the road to WrestleMania, looking to make our pit stop at the Royal Rumble. But before we can get there, we got to get through the Monday Night Raw, the Thursday Night Nitros, and, well, the Sunday Night Heats. Won't be too much longer, though. We'll get through these quick. I'm excited about the Rumble. I know everyone else is, but either way, enough rambling here, as I'm known for doing. Let's just jump right into the show. I don't got much to talk about. We got a total of 3 pre-show matches here tonight. If any of you guys watched Sunday Night Heat from last week or from the previous episode, whenever I uploaded it, to be completely honest, the Boogie Nights, or the Boogaloo, whatever their name was before, the Boogie Nights is what we're calling them. One of you lovely subscribers, or maybe you're not, one of you commented below saying that we should call them Boogie Nights, and I agree. So we call them Boogie Nights. Alex Wright, Das Wonder Kid, the former NWA Wildside champion, never lost it. And Disco Inferno made their debuts on Sunday Night Heat. Looks like they're going to be feuding with Too Cool. So we got to help get them over a little bit here. So we got them going one-on-one against the... Well, not one-on-one's not the correct phrase there at all. As much as I want to use the phrase one-on-one with the one Billy Gunn, it doesn't make sense. Either way, got a tag team match here. Boogie Nights versus the one Billy Gunn and Dean Malenko. Sort of a weird team, but yeah, why not? You know, who cares? 63C is actually pretty impressive here as we have a pre-show bout with Subpar Wrestling and Little Heat. Boogie Nights going over Billy Gunn and Dean Malenko when Alex Wright defeats Billy Gunn with the bridging German suplex. Malenko carried the match in terms of the in-ring performance. Billy Gunn sustained a chest injury. Okay. I mean, normally I guess I would be upset, but I mean, Billy Gunn is going, I'm sorry to say it. And to any of you Billy Gunn fans, once his contract is up, he's most likely out of here. So there you have that. Disco Inferno with a 53 and Alex Wright with a 52, outperforming Billy Gunn in their first night. I guess second night. Dean Malenko with a 67 and Billy Gunn with a 48. Billy Gunn is improving in performance. Now, I think some of you commented in the past about Billy Gunn's in-ring performance, saying like the mod creator must have hated him. Yes, we know that, Brooklyn. I don't really think it's the mod creator. I think it's more me. I've booked him horribly to this point to where he's just gotten shitting on. Either way, we got a 59 solid C here. Local talent Nate Webb getting a chance here. I was originally going to put him in action against... You know what? I don't even remember who I was going to put him in action against, but Sabu wasn't his original opponent. It wasn't until I realized Nate Webb was apparently supposed to be a good hardcore wrestler that I thought, why don't we do a hardcore match? So we have a pre-show bout here that has terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Sabu defeating Nate Webb in 6 minutes 19 seconds with the camel clutch submission hold. Now mind you, Nate Webb's not popular, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that he might have lied on his resume there, because an in-ring performance of a 3, that's embarrassing. That shouldn't have popped up either. Sabu, on the other hand, with an in-ring performance of a 75, it's kind of unfortunate that Sabu's a freelancer, because he's not going to be with us forever. And we've kind of gotten him over, so New Japan will probably pick him up. So I guess when we eventually take Hulk Hogan from New Japan, that'll be our trade. I don't know. But it does suck, because Sabu's, I don't know what I've been doing with him, but he's gotten over somehow, and he's not going to be here forever, so... We end off the pre-show with a 68C+, decent wrestling but not much weighing heat. The WCW Tag Team Champions Power Plant, Mark Jindrak's first match back since being injured. Sean Stasiak and Mark Jindrak going over to the Sandman and Tommy Dreamer when Mark Jindrak defeats Sandman with the Power Plant Bomb. Of course, Sandman was the weak link here tonight, which that's to be expected. Really off his game, Stasiak with a 64, Jindrak with a 67. Tommy Dreamer, which he gets an in-ring performance of a 62 despite being an opener. So to me, that says this guy's got promise. Because, I mean, come on, if you're an opener and you're getting 62 in-ring performances right now, I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. I mean, what if he was a mid-carder? But we'll see where Tommy goes in the future. Sandman, on the other hand, with a 43. Can't even get above the 50. Alright, before we move on to the opening angle of the night, I'm going to take a quick drink of some water here. As I suspect we'll be doing many times in this episode, because we got quite a lot of dialogue. So we open up the night with a 100 A-star rating here. Monday Night Raw opens with the WWF Commissioner, Mick Foley. He's standing in the ring with the mic and he says, "Hello everyone and welcome to Monday Night Raw! Right here in the Palace of Auburn Hills." Because, let's change it up every once in a while. We don't always have to say the city. Now, last week on Raw, we had a #1 contenders match between Triple H and the WWF Intercontinental Champion, The Undertaker, to determine who would challenge the WWF World Champion, The Rock, at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. But also last week on Raw, the Dead Man dropped a bombshell when he said that he would vacate the WWF Intercontinental Championship to face The Rock as well. Well, now, Dead Man, I want to make sure that you understand that you don't have to do this. This is entirely your decision. But if this is what you want to do, then please join me in the ring and hand over the Intercontinental Championship. And then out comes The Undertaker with his music hitting, comes down on his bike, IC title strapped around his neck, classic old badass biker taker gimmick. You know how it is. Look, the WWF Intercontinental title is vacated, he even told us. Either way, Triple H did turn up late, so he gave him a stern warning, which saw his personality get worse. But either way, Taker now in the ring, takes the mic and he says, "Now this is one rowdy crowd tonight. I think that's one of the biggest ovations you people have ever given me in a long time, and I thank you. Now last week, I said that I would give up my Intercontinental Championship to challenge The Rock. But before I hand this title over, I just want to say that it was an honor to be your Intercontinental Champion. The Intercontinental title was the one title that evaded me my whole career. But not anymore, and it feels damn good to get that to check that off my list. So here you go, Mick." And then he hands over the IC title to Mick Foley. Simple as that. IC title's now vacated. Taker continues to go on and say, "Let's get back to business, because Rocky, you have something that I desire even more, and that's the WWF Championship. You talk a big game, kid, but you can't talk a big game against the Dead Man, because I'll knock your teeth down your throat. Talking ain't walking in this business, kid, and I'm the Dead Man. This is my yard. And when you step in my yard, bad things happen, Rock. This is your one and only warning. I may not dress like Satan anymore, but I damn sure can still get down with the devil." And he just drops the mic. I don't know why. I guess I said he handed over the Intercontinental Championship, but let's ignore I said that before, because The Undertaker poses with the Intercontinental Championship one more time, doing the whole raising the arm, IC title goes flapping in the air before handing it over to Mick Foley. He then goes to, of course, exit the ring because he's done what he's supposed to do. But Foley goes, "Well, with that being said and done, I do wish you the best of luck against The Rock at the Royal Rumble, Dead Man. But don't go anywhere just yet, because I think you're going to want to hear this. Because now that the Intercontinental Championship has been vacated, we need to find ourselves a new champion. Which is why both tonight on Raw and Thursday on Nitro, we will have 2 qualifying matches, 4 total. With each of these winners, or those winners, going on to the Royal Rumble to face each other in a fatal 4-way to determine our next Intercontinental Champion. On Nitro, we will see ECW's Rob Van Dam go one-on-one against the self-proclaimed Mexican champion, Eddie Guerrero, as well as seeing one half of the #1 contenders to the WCW Tag Team Championships, Chris Kanyon, facing off against the protege to the Rattlesnake, Rhino. And then tonight we'll see if the Hardy Boys can put their differences aside, because it will be brother versus brother. And then, well, speaking of brothers, your brother Kane is actually going to be going one-on-one against, and we're going to be leading into another promo here, so this next promo is going to be interrupting Mick Foley, so remember that as we move on to it, as we go over some of this angle here. Like we said, Intercontinental Championship now officially vacated. Got the crowd hotter, strong start. Undertaker and Rock gained heat. As we move on to the next rating, or next angle, I should say, and 98 A-star. Like I said, he's interrupting Mick Foley, so Mick Foley's still going on. He's about to announce who Kane's going to be facing later on tonight, when Chris Jericho's music interrupts him, and out comes Chris Jericho and Christian, his protege, and Jericho says, "Excuse the interruption, St. Nicholas, but I know the next name to come out of your mouth had to have been mine or Christian's, because minus our recent setbacks, you're still looking at the former WCW United States Champion, and you're looking at a former and the sexiest WWF Intercontinental Champion, baby!" And despite Edgehead and Greenberg cheating their way to victory, yeah, that's right, all you stupid idiots heard me, they cheated. And despite them cheating, both Christian and I deserve a shot at the WWF Intercontinental Championship. Or over any of those guys, especially Kane. And then Foley goes, well, actually, Chris, I was actually going to say Kane versus Christian, given that he is indeed the former United States champion. But since you feel so strongly about you deserving a shot too, I'll tell you what. Tonight in our main event, in an Intercontinental Championship qualifier match, it'll be Christian and Chris Jericho versus the Brothers of Destruction, with an added stipulation that whoever gets the pinfall between you or you or Jericho. Alright, pretty much, I guess I didn't finish writing this, and I'm not going to try to ad-lib while doing the Mick Foley voice in my head at the same time, but what Foley's going to go on to say here is, if Jericho or Christian go on to win, whoever was going to be the one to get that pinfall submission on Taker or Kane will go on to join the Fatal 4-Way match. So it could either be Jericho, it could either be Christian, or if Taker and Kane win, it can be Kane, because even if Taker gets the pinfall, Kane's in the Battle Royal because, well, Taker's got other things happening. Why would he want to be in the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship? He just vacated the title. Either way, that sets up our main event of the night, which will see Vitamin C, which I guess they haven't officially been called Vitamin C, but Jericho and Christian taking on the Brothers of Destruction. Got the crowd hotter, Taker came across well, gained heat for the 4-Way IC title feud, gained heat to the Royal Rumble feud. All good stuff. So we move on to our opening match of the night, which gets a solid 59C rating here. In an extremely short match, TNA, Test and Albert, the WWF Tag Team Champions, going over Noble Incredible in 3 minutes 55 seconds after Albert defeats Jamie Noble with the A-Bomb. Albert with an 85 in-ring performance. Test starting to get back in my good graces here, getting that 87 in-ring performance. Just Incredible with a 51, and Jamie Noble still surprising me to this day, despite it being an enhancement talent, an impressive 57, despite being an enhancement talent, and not that over. Just Incredible is improving in performance, and Albert is improving in technical. We then move on to our next segment of the night, right after the match. 78 solid B here, which is quite impressive considering that Test is doing all the talking. But after the match, Test goes on to grab a mic, and they begin to respond to the Steiner brothers. If you remember on Nitro, I almost said Impact. If you remember on Nitro, Steiner brothers pretty much, made their claim why they should be challenging for the titles, pretty much. So Test goes on to grab the mic, and he says, Steiners, Albert and I heard what you two muscles had to say on Nitro. You spoke how it's been years since you held the WWF titles, and how Albert and I are unworthy champions. How we don't even deserve to be in the same ring as you two. You know what, and that's fine. We'll let you think that. In fact, we want you to think that. Go ahead and underestimate us. Just know that this time, our backs aren't going to be turned to you. This time, you two are going to have to fight us face to face. And we know you two talk a big game. But come the Royal Rumble, we're going to show everyone that the Steiners are all just talk. When we end your dreams and become the WWF Tag Team Champions once again. And he just drops the mic, and that's pretty much it. It's just a nice response. Now again, while I was reading that promo, I just remembered that Trish Stratus was rating on sex appeal here, so let's not get too excited. But still pretty impressive. Albert getting better at his gimmick as well. No worker improvements, though. As we move on to our next segment here, 69 solid, or not solid, I should say, but at 69C plus here, as Michael Cole, who was rated. I checked Michael Cole before we went on in Sangle. I was curious to see how his entertainment was. He's got pretty good entertainment, to be honest. I think it was strong, very strong. And then I looked at his popularity. He's a decent popularity right now. So putting on heat has definitely helped. Either way, Michael Cole, backstage, he says, Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Cole here, and my guest at this time, Jeff Hardy. And then Jeff enters the shot, and then he's like, Now Jeff, coming up next, you and your brother will face off one-on-one to qualify for a fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Championship at the Royal Rumble. And, well, it's no secret that you and Matt haven't really been getting along as of late. And then Jeff goes on to interrupt Cole, I guess, and he says, Yeah, Cole, it sucks. And I don't know what's up with Matt. I tried to apologize for things that I haven't even done. You see, Matt wants me to lay down for him, wants me to help him get the win, or just let him win. Like he wanted me to do in the triple threat match over the Canadian Championship. I don't know when Matt became so selfish and desperate to prove it on his own and win gold on his own. But that's not how we were raised. We were raised to earn everything we wanted. And if Matt wants his shot at the Intercontinental Championship, then he's going to have to earn it. Because I've been Intercontinental Champion before. And I want to be the Intercontinental Champion again. and I'm not laying down. And then Jeff walks off, and Cole says, well, good luck out there, Jeff. Coming up next, Jeff versus Matt Hardy for a qualifying match in the Intercontinental Championship or whatever. So, pretty good angle, I would say. So, 69C plus, not too shabby. I mean, B minus would be preferred, but again, rating them both on entertainment, kind of giving him the test. I'm happy with it. It's a lot better than what we were getting before, and Jeff's getting better at his gimmick. Win-win. I'm going to take a drink as we lead into our next match here. I got to be honest with you guys. These Hardy Boys matches have kind of been disappointing. But that's okay. Because I'm feeling once we get a little bit harder into this angle here that we'll see a lot better angles. Either way, 74 B minus for the Hardy versus Hardy match. Decent matchup here. Jeff going over Matt Hardy by pinfall with the Swanton Bomb after a distraction from Lita. So back and forth action, I'd imagine here. Matt and Jeff, even grounds. They know each other very well. They're brothers. And at one point, it says distracted by Lita, but it doesn't show the other thing. So I'll go ahead into the road agent note. He was also supposed to be distracted by Daphne. And as you can see, the storyline moved along as well from this. So Daphne comes racing out because, Lita's with Matt Hardy. Daphne wants the women's championship. She comes out and she attacks Lita. She starts beating her down. Lita and Daphne are brawling. That leads to a distraction from Matt. Jeff capitalizes on the distraction. Hits him with the twist of fate, followed by the Swanton Bomb. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Hardy is now the first person to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way match. So there you have that. Matt was off his game, which is unfortunate for him. Jeff with a 72 in-ring performance to Matt Hardy's 66 in-ring performance. And I don't believe it's going to show it here, but if we go to handle changes, we are starting to tease a heel turn for Matt Hardy here. Could always switch around. I'm never going to, put all my cards on the table. Who knows? I could fool y'all and have Jeff Hardy become a heel turn. I might not turn anybody, but it's there. So keep that in the back of your minds as we go to just a short angle here, probably before a commercial break. Vince McMahon arriving in a limo. Simple as that. Oh, it's Mr. McMahon. Simple as that. As we then lead into, after the commercial break, a A-star, 97 A-star rating here. Mr. McMahon themes hit, and out comes the owner of the WWF, who struts his way down to the ring, the only way Mr. McMahon can do. JR and King, of course, are putting over the Royal Rumble. And once Vince McMahon gets in the ring, he takes the mic and he welcomes everybody to Monday Night Raw. And then he proceeds to go on to say, we're in a new year. We're on the road to WrestleMania. Before we can get to the show of shows, first we need to make a pit stop at the Royal Rumble, where 30 men will duke it out in an over-the-top battle royal, with the winner going on the main event WrestleMania against the WWF champion. Except this year. This year is different. As you can see, much to my dismay, my bastard son Shane somehow tricked me into letting 15 of his WCW guys compete in my creation to earn a chance at my title. We know what Shane, I say, too, can play at that game, because when a WWF guy wins the Royal Rumble, then they will have the option for the first time ever in WWF history to decide which world title they will go after. And that's, of course, when Triple H's music hits to interrupt him. Of course, even though Vince McMahon never got around to saying it, that means the WCW or WWF title. Out comes the Game, who makes his way down to the ring alongside, of course, his wife, Stephanie McMahon. As we move on to our promo 2. And he comes out, mic in hand, and he says, Dad, speaking of the Royal Rumble, since I'm not facing Rock at the Rumble, how come I haven't been announced as a participant yet? And then Vince goes on to reply, well, Hunter, last I checked, you said you're not a WWF superstar. And with WCW taking 15 of the 30 slots, well, I'm going to need all the WWF guys I can get. Not a WWF superstar. Look, just because Steph and I refuse to play a part in this petty family war doesn't mean we're still not WWF talent. Last I checked, we still pick up our paychecks at WWF Studios. And Vince once again responds, yeah, but for how much longer, Hunter? Because you see, if the WWF comes out of this war alive, then who's to say I'm going to want to keep all the guys who turned their back on the WWF, when there'll be so much talent left to pick from? And Triple H kind of taken aback by that, and he goes, You can't be serious. Steph, your father's having a moment. Talk some sense into the guy before I beat it into him. Before Triple H can get physical, though, that's when Rob Van Dam's music hit. Yeah, to everybody's surprise, out comes RVD, who makes his way down to the ring alongside Paul Heyman, the owner, I guess, of ECW. I don't know really what to say there. Heyman comes out with Mike as well, and he says, Mr. McMahon, I apologize for the interruption, but I couldn't stand back there any longer and watch Triple H politic his way into yet another high-profile match, which he doesn't deserve it. And Triple H, again, kind of taken aback, he says, excuse me? What exactly are you out here for? And then Vince also wonders why Paul's out here. He says, yeah, Paul, why are you out here? Well, Mr. McMahon, I'm glad you asked, actually. You see, I understand WCW already has 15 spots in the Royal Rumble, and I know you're working with limited options, but I hope you haven't forgotten about your underground army in ECW. Because we're still here and ready to bring WCW down in any way we can, which is why I was thinking that ECW could join the WWF in the Royal Rumble to ensure that WCW doesn't walk away the victor. And Triple H he's just kind of dumbfounded right now, like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. You accuse me of politicking and you're out here doing the same thing? And now we have Triple H and Paul Heyman kind of bickering back and forth. You know, Heyman's like, I'm not politicking, and blah, 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 all back and forth. Finally, Vince hasn't heard enough, and he goes, shut up! You know what? I don't think either ECW or Triple H deserve to be in the Rumble. Not only have you, Triple H, and the ECW guys come up short in almost every big match scenario, but specifically both you, Triple H, and you, Rob Van Dam, let me down in the War Games, and are part of the reason why we're in this mess to begin with. But despite all that, I'm going to give you both a shot. Right here, right now, because it'll be Triple H versus Rob Van Dam, with their winner taken apart in the Royal Rumble, and the loser sitting this year out. And then Vince's music hits, and he starts walking off, as we have an impromptu matchup between Rob Van Dam and Triple H. Winner goes on to be in the Royal Rumble. Loser sits this year out. Of course, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon have great chemistry. Royal Rumble storyline gain heat. RVD is developing better performance skills as we move on into that matchup, which gets a solid 82 B plus, or B rating, not B plus. In a superb match, Triple H going over Rob Van Dam in 13 minutes 21 seconds with the pedigree. Back and forth action, but Triple H gets the victory in a storytelling bout here. Of course, Triple H and Stephanie have the great chemistry, which we just talked about. And Triple H with a 94, Rob Van Dam with an impressive 83. We move on to our next segment here. Solid 69 C plus rating here, most likely back from a commercial break. Bradshaw, the former WWF Hardcore Champion, makes his way down to the ring. He doesn't waste any time getting in the ring with the mic in hand, and he's calling out the man who took the title from him. He says, Raven, last week you and your goons got the jump on me, but I'm ready for round 2. You said on Nitro that you didn't care about the Hardcore title. You even went so far to throw it on the ground like a piece of trash. And now you have your goons fight over it. Now what I don't understand is why you go through all that trouble if your plan was just to take the title back. But then again, I don't care, because the only thing that this damn Texan cares about is getting his gold back and making sure punks like you don't cause any trouble. So Raven, how's about you come on down here and let's have a good old-fashioned brawl so I can take back my property? And that's when Bradshaw, he starts waiting for Raven to come out, but instead, out comes Boss Man, who's just standing at the top of the entryway, rubbing his hands, he's smiling, and he's distracting Bradshaw. He distracts Bradshaw long enough for Perry Saturn, Boss Man's tag team partner, to come out, attacks Bradshaw from behind, and we have another impromptu matchup here between Bradshaw and Perry Saturn, which gets a solid, and I keep saying solid even when it's not, but a 70 C plus rating here, as we have a decent match. Bradshaw and Perry Saturn actually draw, and 8 minutes, 16 seconds here after the match descended into chaos once the Flock pretty much got involved. So this was like an Aussie Rules, like a hardcore match, so it wasn't really supposed to be an impromptu matchup, but it was. And out comes the Flock, so we have Raven, Boss Man, Vampiro, maybe even Daphne, all beating down on Bradshaw now, just beating the living hell out of him, sending him a message, don't call us out, stuff like that. Bradshaw with a 75 in-ring performance, Perry Saturn with a 62. So We move on to our next segment here. I'm going to take a quick drink. 86 B+ rating here. We're backstage. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin and Rhino. Rhino's in the locker room. He's like working out and stuff. Austin's laughing too. No, you know what? I scratched that. I'm wrong. Rhino's not working out. This is like an old school promo. They're both looking at the camera. Austin starts laughing to himself like, well, well, well. Look what we got. Look what you gone and got yourself now, Canyon. There you go, impressing people, Chris. And now you got the human wrecking ball, Rhino, this Thursday on Nitro. I mean, Rhino and I already had so much fun opening a can of whoop ass on you and that idiot partner of yours. But now Rhino is going to get to have all the fun to himself. But it doesn't have to be this way, Canyon. You and that jackass that follows you around somehow earned yourself a shot at the WCW tag titles. You could have just avoided this match and any injuries that may come before your tag title match. Or you could show up in, well, you know what, I'll let Rhino tell you. And then that's when Rhino talks. Rhino says, or you can show up and feel your ribs shatter when I hit you with the gore. 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 And that ends the promo there. Austin was fantastic. Rhino looked good. Do we want to change his gimmick yet? Let's go ahead and complete the gimmick change. Why the hell not? Below average. That sucks. We're going to have to pay him a lot of money. We should have probably waited on that. Fucking Austin with a below average gimmick. How? That's impossible. No way. I don't believe it. Never in my life would that happen. Never in my life would that happen. That's complete bullshit. I'm pissed now. That pissed me off. It really did. Okay. Anyway, let's calm it down now a little bit here. Solid 80B here. Just a freestyle segment. Rock comes and joins commentary for the match. Nothing special. Taker, Brothers of Destruction are already in the ring. Vitamin C are already in the ring. Rock's on commentary. We go to our matchup, which gets an 81 solid B rating here. Bout that had sensational wrestling and great heat. Vitamin C, Jericho, and Christian end up going over the Brothers of Destruction after 12 minutes and 33 seconds when Christian defeated Kane with using a foreign object. No. Look here, too. I don't get why you come up with some of these crazy endings, but let me just explain what happened here. So like I said, Rock's on commentary, and at one point, Jericho pushes the Undertaker. Jericho and the Undertaker are on the outside of the ring. Jericho pushes him. Undertaker kind of falls on the Rock, you know what I mean? That simple segment. And Rock kind of takes offense to it. He kind of stands up. Him and Taker start arguing, which leads to, who knows, maybe Jericho does use a foreign object to hit Kane, which leads to Christian rolling him up for a quick pin. 1, 2, 3. Christian gets the victory. And, yeah. So Christian is going on. So we now have Jeff Hardy and Christian in the 4-way Intercontinental Championship match. We only have 2 more people, which could either be Rob Van Dam, Chris Kanyon, Rhino, or Eddie Guerrero. Jericho and Christian have excellent chemistry together, as we already knew about. Christian with a 91 in-ring performance. Why? Jericho and Taker both with 100s, and Kane with a 94 himself? What the heck, guys? Why did you only get an 81B if you're doing these great ratings? Should have had you guys go longer. Jesus. We move on to the next segment here, which, wow, that sucked. Why did this suck so bad? Well, either way, Taker gets in the ring to, kind of try to save his brother, but that doesn't work out. Rock decides he's not done with Taker. He gets in the ring, and he's still jabbing with Taker. You don't land on the People's Champ, blah, 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 stuff like that, which leads to him just getting chokeslammed by both The Undertaker and Kane for his troubles to end off the show. What a shitty way to end off the show. Like, the show was doing great the entire time, and then we just shit at the very end. Austin gets a poor gimmick. Vitamin C and Taker and them have a good match, but despite having a good match, they honestly could have done better, in my opinion, because they were putting on freaking 90s. And then what a shitty ending to the show. Although we got a solid 89A, so I guess there's that. We still increased our popularity, but get ready for this amount of money we're going to have to freaking pay Stone Cold. Damn it, boys, my gimmick sucks so much. I don't know, Austin, what the hell? How does Austin's gimmick suck? That doesn't make sense. Only way Austin's gimmick would suck is if we literally, gave him a gimmick that meant for him to suck. Apparently Billy Gunn's not going to be missing any time. Hulk Hogan says he's a kingpin in New Japan. Yeah, well, you know about that. Rhino's got an opinion? Rhino, you probably need to cut off. I don't know if you're opinion level yet. Okay? To my surprise, Stone Cold is not mad at us, but I'm still mad that he got a below average on his big league gimmick. Like that never. He's irritated, but he's happy enough to let it slide. Never would that happen, guys. That never. Either way, let's check out storylines before we go off and end this episode. Four-way feud's going pretty good. That didn't have anything. That's all right. What else did we progress? That's all right too. All right. I would prefer this to be higher up though, but those other angles kind of fucked me up. Either way though, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, like me on Twitter, and if you're ever in the mood to watch me live stream, make sure you go follow me on Twitch so you can get any notifications when I go live. Either way, Nerds and Geeks, that's going to be the end of this video. My name's been OMGWTF, level WBRB. I think I might have said that already. I'll see you guys for Nitro. Until then, have a good one.